sharing norms, that we'll respect each other's opinions, listening to the speaker, using we statements rather than you statements with a focus on improving strategies and practices. We decided that was a really, really important piece because we're moving from planning as an I to a we and using the we as our safety net, so not any one person is responsible for the lesson study, but we're in it as a group endeavor. Being open-minded and flexible to changing your mindset, and being prepared to justify and discuss your thoughts. The next piece we'd like to look at is the qualities of a good lesson. We worked on this list earlier. We added to the initial list that we had, students are active, the purpose is clear, and connects to prior learning. As a fourth grade team, you took a look at Marzano's 41 indicators. Let's take a look at that now and see if there's anything we'd like to add to that. Let's take a look at domain number 1. And thinking about qualities of a good lesson, we know all of these are qualities of a good lesson. But specifically in our plans for this lesson study, what are some things that you'd like to add to the list that we've begun? Go ahead and have some conversation around.
Set clear goals so the children know exactly what they're doing before the lessons.
I think we also need to organize, the information so it's digestible as pieces as we do our lesson to make sure that we're doing the chunks to have them go back and, share their understanding with their partners.
And previewing the vocabulary.
Yes. And then the reflecting on the learning, we need that big reflection piece.
Now, are we going to do that on the learning or on the social or the academic? Because remember, we have both focuses too.
Yeah, it all depends on what the greater need is. It's like you said, higher social, lower academic, or higher academic, lower social. So whatever we want to pick, which is higher, then that's what we can do the reflection piece on.
Good conversations around our domain 1 and the 41 indicators, and we've compiled a good list of information from that and from your own experiences of your qualities of a good lesson. So as a fourth grade team, you designed this. Who'd like to share this out so we can get our minds wrapped around the same pieces? Suzanne, thank you.
Teachers model, lessons are engaging, students are on task, they make personal connections and experiences, celebrating success, we have to show enthusiasm, circulate around the room, with-itness, we have to watch those students, make sure everyone's on task, scaffolding, their prior knowledge, wait time, let them think, let them struggle, keep focus, and then looking at the student reflection at the end.
So keeping all of that in mind, you want to think about what are the standards or the subject areas that you want to focus on. What subject area do you find to be one of the most difficult or one that you really want to research?
I think we decided on math since we did reading the first time. We wanted to go ahead and, or we did writing the first one.
Right. We
wanted to go ahead and do something different and bring in the Common Core since that's what we're diving into.
And you've been doing a lot of PD through math, working with number talk, working with productive struggle. So is there a specific standard in math that you are considering working through?
We decided to go ahead, I think, and preview, because we were getting ready for, FCAT. We decided to preview the standard with the angles, points, line segments, because we haven't taught that lesson, but we thought it would be a good preview for all of our classes.
And were you thinking of a social goal that might work well with that, or do we want to wait and look at what social goal may work well with the lesson that you designed?
Well, we're interested in the social goals since Common Core wants us to do more of the number talks, have the students explaining their answer. We've been looking at the Kagan structures, looking to pick out something that the students will be engaged in and learn from the lesson at the same time.
Independent thinking we can.
Okay, when we look at the listening and speaking standards then, let's go ahead and pull those up and take a look at those. You've got them there on the flip chart, Kristen, and then we've also got them electronically. Take a look at your listening and speaking standards and see which one seems to coincide with the think and the wait time best. And that's an English language arts standard that really integrates well with math, the listening and speaking pieces. So what does it say we need to do for 4th grade? Give you a second to look those up and take a peek at those. Okay, now you all have the standards pulled up and you're taking a look at the listening speaking standards and how it connects to the math standard that you have decided upon. There are lots of listening and speaking standards. It takes just a minute to flip through those or scroll through those and see which one will best apply to the math standard that you're looking at. And have some conversation around that.
This would be under the comprehension and collaboration section. So it's presentation of knowledge and ideas. We're not having them present, but the comprehension and collaboration. Engage effectively and arrange collaborative discussions one-on-one or in groups with diverse partners, and then build on others' ideas and expressing their own clearly.
Which standard is that, Kristen, so we can make sure we're all looking at the same one?
SL 4.1.
How do you guys all see that working in with the math standard that you've chosen? Do you think that that will mesh effectively?
I think it will. Then we need to discuss it
And pair share.
So you're thinking about doing some pair share. Earlier, Suzanne, you'd mentioned the Kagan strategies. How is that going to combine? How will we use that learning structure in combination with that standard?
Well, to have students identify angles, work on it themselves, and then present their ideas to their partner, and then they have a discussion. Do they agree? If they don't agree, why don't you agree? And then we'll bring the students together and they can show us their answers.
And they can justify their responses too.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. So let's get that recorded up here so we have a good visual for everyone. Our math standard. You have the Common Core State Standard for G1. Draw points, lines, line segments, rays, angles, right, acute, and obtuse, and perpendicular and parallel lines. Identify these in two-dimensional figures. The speaking and listening standard that you saw that paired well with the math standard, and it's great that you're bringing an English language arts and a math standard together, so we're seeing more crossing of the standards, is speaking and listening standard 4.1c, to pose and respond to specific questions, to clarify or follow up on information, and make comments that contribute to the discussion and link remarks of others, primarily focusing on students listening and being able to share what their partner was saying. So we'll use these two in conjunction as like a academic goal and a social goal in pairing. So the next piece we want to look at is where are the students now and what are some qualities we envision. So as a 4th grade team, where do you think your students are now with this math standard?
Well, I think that they have the prior knowledge of the vocabulary mastered.
Speaking from your class.
For your
Yes.
class, yeah, I was
Mine
gonna say,
is-
because we're grouped differently, so like your class would have that background knowledge where my class wouldn't. Like we would have to go back through the vocabulary. What is array? What is a line segment? Like, and they need the visual of it because they won't know off the bat.
So you think we really should go back and pre-test, see exactly what do our classes
Yeah,
know?
so like do the show what you know, just kind of see where they stand. Because I know
Yes.
mine don't stand on a good common ground of knowing.
Okay, terrific. It sounds like at this point you want to get some more baseline data. You've got classes, we've got gifted inclusion classes and ESC inclusion classes and basic classes. So let's go back, get some baseline data from our classrooms when we have our second planning time. This is a great time to stop and wrap up. we'll come back and we'll share our data results. So you're going to test, show what you know, correct? And bring that data back so we know where our students are now and what are some qualities we envision for this standard when you're thinking about that as you're looking at the data. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.